This week's theme is socialization and the social construction of reality. So I want to start off with a question. What made you, you? Sounds like a weird question, right? Well, what made you, you is socialization, the ways in which you were socialized into the broader culture of society. And, studying socialization is a really important thing to study when we want to talk about, finding solutions to a lot of our social problems. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples of different things that we are socialized into, and I'm going to focus on gender as kind of the broad example that we can go through various aspects. Okay, so in your book you're going to read about different agents of socialization. Agents of socializations are areas in which society's expectations, rules, and regulations are transmitted to us. Okay, so the first and foremost agent of socialization starts in our house. It's our family, right? That's our first exposure to our familial culture, to gender relations, to many different things, including religion, starts in our families, right? So thinking back to your family and the ways in which you were socialized, I want you to start pondering, some of the different things. How did gender operate in your household? Was there a split between boys and girls or men and women, the types of chores or labor that either your moms and dads or your brothers and sisters would do? Did you have different expectations placed upon you because of your gender? Was there, subtle and not so subtle messages that we learned about gender? I know I did. So I grew up in a family of mostly boys, or all boys, 2 older brothers and a mom and dad. And sports were a big part of my socialization. They were a way in which I spent a lot of time with my dad bonding through kind of a masculine practice of sports. And so today, I still like sports. Even as a sociologist, I love sports. It's something I enjoy, but it's not by chance. I was socialized into the world of sports, and you can look at pictures of me when I'm 9 months old, and I'll have a little baby shirt on that has a little baseball on it, right? So already from the time we are born, we're getting messages about our gender, about other things about us, and it stays with us, and even they can be conflictual. Okay, so what are some other agents of socialization? Well, we know also religion is another agent of socialization. So even if you identify as non-religious or an atheist, religion still has an impact on your life. Okay, we live in a society in which 98% of people believe in some higher power or God. It's on our currency. Religion plays a major role in politics and kind of our institutions such as marriage and things and debates. Religion plays a huge role. So religion also imparts a lot of gendered messaging. Like I said, I'm taking gender through the different agents of socialization. Think about how gender works in your religion. Chances are, in most major world religions, there's typically masculine figures involved, whether it's the intermediary between God and people. Whether I grew up as a Catholic, and as the Catholic Church is predominantly run by men. I'm not saying I'm not critiquing all your religions or anything like that, but we need to look at them, because sociologists, we study everything. We don't hold anything as sacred, so that means everything, including religion, can be studied. Okay, let's think of another agent of socialization: media. Okay, so you're going to learn a lot about media, and the media are, TV, movies, radio, newspapers, not just the news. Okay, it's all these things, including things like Facebook and Twitter. This is all forms of media, and media, there's gender going on all over the place. Okay, drive around Las Vegas. Okay, and Las Vegas is a part of the culture, the pop culture, and kind of postmodern culture of the United States, and it embodies a lot of kind of the visceral elements of our culture, of consumerism, of a hyper sense of sexuality. There's a lot of gender going on in Las Vegas, right? Look at the ways in which casinos and clubs and bars are using advertising and sex and gender to try to lure in certain demographics, right? So gender is all around us, and gender is, we get a ton of messages from the types of media that we have, even as adults and as children. So there's two different types of socialization. There's a primary socialization that starts when you're young, right, all the way up through adolescence. And then there's a secondary socialization. You know, that happens when we're adults. We're still socialized. We still learn, you know, values and norms, and these things, they can change depending upon your age. So, you know, the types of socialization that, you know, you had as a young person, I know for a lot of young people, peer socialization, another agent, is a big important thing. You know, peer groups play a key role in kind of imparting, you know, messages about gender and other things as well. And all these things together make up the agents of socialization. They impart culture onto us, and they're so influential that they can shape our perspective of reality. Another one is school. Okay, so you know, one approach to of school is that, look, you think about elementary school. You went to school, you learn how to read, you learn how to write, you learn how to do multiplication, right? Yeah, we learn those things in school, but school is much more than just kind of learning, you know, how to read and write. Okay, we get cultural messages from the time we enter kindergarten, kind of non-academic messages, and these have to do with socialization. School is probably the first place we're exposed to hierarchical authority. I can remember, learning to stand in a straight line, right? Standing up in a single file line is a message we have when we're young people. Well, why are we taught that? Well, it's because that's how the mainstream culture in this society operates, right? And if you go to other places around the world, you'll see, well, not everybody stands in single file lines. So there's something social about it. But you begin to learn and internalize it, so then you think other people who do different practices than you are weird, or their food's weird. There's nothing objective about it. It has to do with how you were socialized. Another thing is, you know, thinking back to another concept that sociologists look at in terms of school and socialization is what's called hidden curriculum. That much of the things that we learn actually have hidden messages. You know, think about like patriotism. Okay, so when I was in the third grade, I was a shy little redheaded kid. Okay, and I didn't speak much to teachers. I talked to my friends, but I didn't want to speak in large groups or something, anything like that. Well, in my school, we had something where each day, the start of school, in the first period of classes, my elementary school, one kid was chosen to go to the principal's office and over the PA lead the school in the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, one day it was little redhead Jakey's turn, and I got a tap on the shoulder, and I went to the principal's office, and I went to the mic, and nothing came out. I was too scared. Okay. So thinking back on this is that I was too scared to speak. I think I whispered through it. Okay. It was a very scary part of my day during that time in third grade. This kind of shows us and demonstrates that these agents of socialization are pretty impactful. Okay, we get a lot more out of these than just kind of, you know, kind of how kind of a short-sighted approach might get us. So this week, really kind of getting deep to the material. You should be getting the mojo down in terms of the sociological imagination, and good luck.